There are certain events that occur in our personal histories that are embedded in our brains. The birth of a child, the death of a loved one. We'll remember exactly where we were and what we were doing when we heard of these events. But we also have a collective memory. Older folks would always remember when I was a kid where they were on December the 7th, 1941, when Pearl Harbor was attacked. Many of us, my age, remember exactly what we were doing when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. We also remember where we were when man first walked on the moon. Our collective memory also is where we were on September 11th. We all remember distinctly what we were doing, where we were, and how we first found out about this tragic event. The news was inconceivable. Reports that a plane had crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center in New York. Then news of a second crash into the other tower. This was now more than a tragic coincidence. Within 2 hours, both 110-story towers had collapsed and lower Manhattan was covered in ash and debris. The world as we had known it had changed. How could this be happening? And what exactly was happening and why? Before we had time to answer, news of more chaos, death, and destruction. A third plane had crashed into the Pentagon in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. And before long, news of a fourth plane crashed into the field in western Pennsylvania. As it turned out, each of the 4 airliners had been hijacked as part of a coordinated terrorist attack by Al-Qaeda, an Islamic terrorist group. There were 19 terrorists in total, some of whom had lived in the United States and trained at American flight schools. They smuggled in knives and box cutters. Security was much more lax then, so they were able to successfully board the flights, all bound for California and with plenty of fuel for the cross-country trips. After early morning takeoffs, the terrorists commandeered the planes, but because of a delay in takeoff of the flight from Newark, the passengers of the United Airlines Flight 93 started to receive news of other attacks via cell phones and decided they would not go down without a fight. While they succeeded in thwarting the hijackers' plans, they could not prevent the plane from crashing into the Pennsylvania field, killing all on board. Nearly 3,000 died as a direct result of the 9/11 attacks, including 343 firefighters and 72 law enforcement officers, in addition to 25,000 more people who sustained injuries, and an untold number of who suffered long-term health consequences. Infrastructure and property damages were estimated to exceed $10 billion. 9/11 remains the single deadliest terrorist attack in history. 2 Atlantic City natives, John O'Neill and Victor Saraceno, died in the 9/11 attacks. 4 years ago, on the 15th anniversary of 9/11, the city of Absecon held a dedication service to unveil its own unique memorial located in Heritage Park on Mill Road near City Hall. It features 2 19-foot aluminum towers to symbolize the World Trade Center and a 16-foot piece of steel beam recovered from the South Tower at its base. 5 flagpoles display the American and New Jersey flags, as well as those from New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. The memorial was the vision of Jim Smith, a volunteer firefighter. Smith and 21 citizens formed the Absecon 9/11 Memorial Founders Committee and enlisted the services of an architect named William Harrislack, fellow firefighter Ed Vincent as the construction manager, and Lamont Czar as the engineer. The committee dedicated 3 years of their time to design a fitting tribute, find a suitable site, and make their dream a reality. The committee broke ground on the memorial on August 1st, 2015. and it cost $200,000, which was obtained through generous donations of friends, neighbors, and community partners. Jim, Ed, and a third firefighter, Butchie Stewart, were the ones to transport the 3,000-pound steel beam from JFK Airport to Absecon on a large flatbed provided by Ed Klein of Klein Construction. A crane and crew were provided by Iaconelli Construction to remove the beam from the truck. What a community effort this was. One of the requirements of the Port Authority in releasing the steel beam to the men was that it be illuminated every night, and so it is. Thanks to all those involved in the Absecon 9/11 Memorial. Your efforts to honor these heroes and provide their lasting tribute are profoundly recognized and appreciated. The lives lost that day will never be forgotten. On a personal level, I would like you all to remember and never forget the sacrifices that were made by the first responders. While the rest of humanity was running in one direction to save themselves, these individuals were running into danger, and most of them did not come back. During this memorial service, let us all remember and never forget the sacrifices others make for us. God bless each and every one of you.